We proceed with the right to bail. Section 13 says that all persons, except those charged with offenses punishable by reclusion perpetua, when the evidence of guilt is strong, shall before conviction be bailable by sufficient sureties or be released on recognizance as may be provided by law. The right to bail shall not be impaired even when the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus is suspended. Excessive bail shall not be required. So, what is bail? Bail is the security given for the release of a person in custody of the law, furnished him or by a bondsman to guarantee his appearance before any court. So the primary purpose of the bail system is to require still the accused to be present in court despite being given temporary liberty while his case is pending in instances when bail is given or allowed by the court. This is to guarantee his appearance before any court. But it is expanded in the case of Leviste versus CA, saying that bail actually, aside from a guarantee for the court for him to appear, it's a reconciling mechanism to accommodate both the accused interest in pretrial liberty and the society's interest in assuring the accused's presence in trial. But actually, jurisprudence would later on provide for a more expansive reason for bail, no? As we will know more as we proceed with this video. So, what are the forms of bail? First is there is such a thing as corporate surety. This is given by any domestic or foreign corporation licensed as a surety in accordance with law. Um, a bail bond is subscribed jointly by the accused and the officer of the corporation. So instead of a cash bond, it's the corporation that assures or pays in behalf of the accused who pays the corporate surety the minimum amount of for the policy, and it is the corporation that pays the court the exact amount of bail. So parang ang corporate surety company is the insurer of the presence of the accused. Bale, the accused pays the company pays the court. What the accused pays the company is the minimum service charge for the surety, and but what the corporation pays the court is the exact amount of the bail. So it's like an insurance company, a surety company. So next is property bond. Instead of giving cash or surety, the accused surrenders his title, and then the title is an annotation that the bond that the title constitutes part of the bond, or the bond as a bail for the accused in a court proceeding. So instead of cash land title, perhaps, then you have cash deposit, and this is the easiest. When the bail is required or prescribed by the court, you just pay the amount stated in the information or in the grant of the petition for bail. Um, Sometimes the bail recommended may be high, but what do you do when the bail is too high for your client? You file a motion to reduce bail. And more often than not, bail is reduced to one half of the amount prescribed in the information or recommended, no, in the information. Then you have recognizance. Recognizance, you don't pay any bond, but you just surrender the accused to a person of known integrity in the society. Okay? Um, and this person assures the appearance of the accused in the court. No? This is under Republic Act 10389, the Recognizance Act of 2012. The court where the case of such person has been filed shall allow the release of the accused on recognizance as provided therein to the custody of a qualified member of the barangay or city municipality where the accused resides, person of a known competence and integrity. So what is the purpose? Ito yung sinasabi ko. While the general purpose is to guarantee the attendance of the accused, um, now it's a more practical, no? It's to relieve the accused of imprisonment while the case is pending, because while he is in jail, while he is in jail, well, no, sorry, when he is in jail, his sources of finances may be jeopardized and he cannot anymore support his case. But if he is granted bail, um, he could find means to support his case. Further, the state is relieved with taking care of him, of spending for him, because now he is on his temporary freedom. No, so the penal system did not provide for him. No, well, um, it's also with given the presumption of innocence, the accused would possibly be really innocent, and disallowing bail would already deprive him of years of his life for a false accusation. That's why that's also one reason for bail. But definitely, bail is not a means of punishing the defendant or a revenues to the government, because this is returned actually. This is returned after the termination of the case. Okay. So such a right flows from the presumption of innocence at Palayon in favor of every accused who should not be subjected to the loss or freedom, as thereafter he would be entitled to acquittal. The same in the case of People versus Fitzgerald. So these are the instances when the right to bail may be invoked. It may be given as a right, it may be given as a matter of court discretion, or it may be directly denied. Is bail possible in military courts? No. The unique structure of the military should be enough reason to exempt military men from the constitutional coverage of the right to bail. Well, it appears that jurisprudence here excludes a certain class of people, no? Which is the military, from the right to bail. Um, when um, when bail is fixed, the following should be considered: financial ability of the accused, nature and circumstances of the offense, penalty for the offense charged, character and reputation of the accused, age and health of the accused, weight of evidence against the accused, probability of the accused appearing for trial, forfeiture of other bail, or if he is a fugitive from justice when arrested, and if there are other cases pending when he is out on bail. Okay. These are determined. These are the determinants of how much amount of bail should be fixed, no, for a certain accused. But regardless, excessive bail shall not be required. Because if bail is given but it is excessive, then it is as if you are denying already the right of a person. No? The right to bail is meaningless. It would have been more forthright if no mention of such guarantee was found in the fundamental law, if excessive bail is allowed. Okay. It would have been more it would have been more forthright if he were informed of categorically that such a right could not be availed of. There would be there would have been no disappointment on his part, no? A promise to the ear to be broken to the hope, a teasing illusion like a magnificent bequest of a pauper's will. But if you say that my client is poor, he cannot afford bail, the poverty is not a reason for it's not the sole consideration there, no. The inability of a defendant to secure bail is not a reason to determine bail, though it may be made use as a reason for a motion to reduce bail in court, no, because the inability of the accused to pay bail by itself does not make the amount excessive. When you are out on bail, your right to travel abroad may be minimized by the court. In the case of Manotoc versus CA, and in the case of Defensor Santiago versus Vasquez. And you may be rearrested, in fact, if you attempt to flee the country when you are out on bail. Okay. Could you waive bail? Yes. There are two rights that can be waived. So there are two classifications of rights. One is a right which the state is interested in, and the second, those which are personal to the accused. If it's a right that is where the state is interested in, like the recitation of the Miranda rights, you cannot waive it But if it's personal to the accused, you can waive it. So you may refuse and waive the right to bail. Okay. So on to the next video.